Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to your Chelsea news. Chelsea's selling spree continues with 3 deals lined up for KDH, Lesley, Ugochukwu and Carney Chukwuemeka. Tyreek George is also for sale in this summer transfer window. We have an update regarding the front of shirt sponsor. Today is the day that Chelsea players go back to Cobham to start training for the new season, and Malo Gusto has some fighting words. And finally, Chelsea have announced Jorrel Hato. Now, of course, I'll be giving my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k before the end of 2025. Kicking things off, late last night, Chelsea had reported official. Chelsea is delighted to announce the signing of Netherlands international Jorrel Hato from Ajax. They then shared his first words as a Chelsea player, in which Jorrel Hato said, "I'm very excited, I'm so happy to be here. I thought a lot about my future and wanted to take the next step in my career. Chelsea is the best place for me to do that, so I'm very happy." He then goes on to talk about why he joined Chelsea, and he said, "For sure it was a big decision. I played 7 years at Ajax and for me it was home. The people, the players, the coaches, the culture, so it was not easy to leave. But my feelings was at this moment I needed to make a step to the biggest club in the biggest competitions, and for me, this was the right decision at the right time." This is the signing that Chelsea fans have been looking forward to being, over the line, announced, completely done and dusted. Jorrel Hato, welcome to Chelsea. Welcome to the pride of London. We are so excited to have him here. I cannot wait to see him play in a Chelsea shirt. I saw the announcement video over on Chelsea's TikTok and various other medias over on X as well, and I'm just so excited to see Jorrel Hato play. And I just want to say, even with his first little interview here of saying why he joined Chelsea, again, it's very real, very raw, very organic from him. It's basically, look, I played at Ajax for 7 years. Everything about that was home. So for me to leave, it had to be the right club to go to. Now, we all forget that Hato was being sought after by a lot of European clubs, and he turned them down very quickly and bought into the Chelsea project and only wanted Chelsea. He then played his part in the negotiations by refusing to play for Ajax in pre-season. Ajax then obviously respected his desire to want to leave, even though they wanted to keep him. And then it was just the club-to-club negotiations on that final transfer fee. Chelsea, I've got an incredible player here. I'm so over the moon that we've managed to sign him, and he's now been announced. He's going to be training with the first team today, the 4th of August at the time of recording. They all go back to Cobham, and Jorrel Hato just looks great in that kit. And how good does that home kit look with the World Champions badge on, by the way? Looks unbelievable, right? And he is right. We are the biggest club in the biggest competitions. And look, this is where Chelsea's legacy in the last 25 years always will help in terms of player pool, and recency. Recent success also helps too. We've just become the world champions. In the last 25 years, we've been the most successful club in England. We've won everything multiple times. So when players are growing up seeing this, and then they're being linked to a club like Chelsea, they want to buy into the system. Now, the last few years has been very turbulent with a change of ownership, change of managers, not winning as much, finishing lower down in the table, etc. It's not been easy, right? There's been players that have turned us down because of that. But now, things are going back to normal. They're going back to normal. We are winning things. The elite mentality within this squad, everything is going back in the direction that we know and love, which is Chelsea being the biggest and best that we can be. So welcome, Jorrel Hato. We are very excited. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding Jorrel Hato to Chelsea. Are you excited this deal is completely done and the announcement is done and he is now part of Chelsea's squad? Do you feel like this is very good business for Chelsea in terms of the money we paid and the style of player that we're getting? This guy's unbelievably gifted, and he's still very young with a lot of experience. What are also your thoughts regarding Cucurella playing less game time because we have someone like Jorrel Hato? Very curious to know your thoughts down below. And while we're talking about players returning to training, the elite mentality, and looking forward to Chelsea next season, Gusto posted this on Instagram saying, "We won 2 trophies. We're the Club World Cup champions. You're damn right we are. When you watch yourself back, the images, what it did to people around you, you know it's something powerful. It's what we play for, really, these moments. There are still even bigger trophies to go after. That's what we're chasing next." I absolutely love this. I honestly, internally, externally, throughout, mentally, just excited and happy to be a Chelsea fan. I'm sure you guys are as well. Let me know your thoughts down below of where you're at right now as a Chelsea fan. I'm at peak excitement for this season to start. I know that it's been, pre-season. We had an extended sort of season with the Club World Cup, which we went on to win, which is incredible. And we had a very short resting period, and now back into training. We've got 2 pre-season games, one on the 8th, one on the 11th, and then straight back into the Premier League season. It still felt like a lifetime since the Club World Cup final. and today when they go back to training, at least in my opinion. I just don't ever want it to stop. And I know it's a very selfish thing to say. Obviously, these players need to rest and recover, of course. But from a fan, I just want to continue seeing Chelsea as much as possible, especially in the run of form that we're in. But the elite mentality from these players, now that they've won trophies under Enzo Maresca, has worked wonders in terms of getting the players to all pull in the same direction, sing from the same hymn sheet, trust in him, run through walls for him, develop this mentality, along with that mentality coach that we all laughed at months and months ago, the rugby guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, also worked wonders. Everything is coming together. The foundations are built. We've also worked on that, and this is the season that we kick on with the new improvements in the key areas of the squad with the incomings. The outgoings we're going to talk about a little bit later, but that seems to be going swimmingly well for Chelsea in terms of that long list of players we're looking to offload. And when you've got players like Colwell, Reece James, Fernandes, Cucurella, Gusto, and many, many others coming out and saying similar things. If everyone underestimated us, that gave us fire in the belly. We are Chelsea. We are here to win. That's what we're going to do. We're all, singing from the same hymn sheet. We're here to win things. We don't just want to participate in the Champions League. We want to compete. We're not just going to compete in the Premier League. We're going for it. We feel like we're good enough to win these titles, win these challenges, and we're going to show you guys how much this means to us and how much we've improved over last season. So I absolutely love this. And Gusto's hit the nail on the head here. We're the world champions, it still hasn't really sunk in. Everyone's going to come to us wanting to beat the world champions. It's added pressure. And I love that because I feel like it gives more fire in the belly for the boys to step up even more and overcome these challenges that face our way at Stamford Bridge and even when we go away as well. And when he talks about how there are bigger and better trophies to go after, the Premier League, the Champions League, they're the big boys. They're the ones that we really want to be getting. And honestly, Phil, the way everything is so far, and this is very early season talk, of course, but the way everything is so far in terms of the foundations, the key additions, the offloading, the way that everyone's pulling in the same direction, there is no real reason why Chelsea cannot go and get these things within the next foreseeable future. We have a very young and very talented squad. It's an unbelievable time to be a Chelsea fan. I'm so excited. So I love what Gusto is saying. It adds into that big long list of other players saying very similar things in terms of we want to win. We've got this mindset, that mentality. We're hungry for more because we've won 2 trophies already. Now what's next? What's the next thing? We're not going to sit and rest on our laurels. What's the next competition we can win? So it's going to be a very interesting season for us Chelsea fans, man. So I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on what Gusto has said, the elite mentality that is being built and developed at Chelsea. Where do you think we'll finish this season in the Premier League and the Champions League? What do you think Chelsea can go on and win this season? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Lou Class has reported that Chelsea are trying to maximise their success at the Club World Cup by increasing their financial expectations to more than £60 million a year. 1, this lengthens the process of selecting a new front of shirt sponsor, and 2, the clubs has selected 3 entities for further talks, one of which is from the Middle East. Now, Lou Class usually does a lot of posts around sponsorship deals and also kit leaks. If I'm being honest, they're what I see Lou Class pinging up for, and he's mainly 9 times out of 10 spot on. So this isn't to say there's some random person putting this together. But yeah, this is what Lou Class seems to report, and what I have reported on previously has actually come to fruition. But it's just a little bit of an update on the front of shirt sponsor. It's something, again, that we're all craving to see who is going to be giving us the most amount of money. What sponsor are we going to be having on our shirts? We haven't had them for multiple seasons now. Yes, we've had Infinite Athlete, but that was on a short-term deal. We had Damac for like 7 games, but we want a long-term sponsor of Chelsea Football Club, the current world champions for the next 4 years. £60 million a year. I remember when the owners reported that that's what they were after originally, and everyone was like, what, we're not going to get that, we finished 12th. And yes, it seemed wild and crazy at that time, but now it's all fallen into place, and we're now trying to get even more than that, probably closer to £70 million in sponsorship, because we are also the current World Club Cup champions. So, be very interesting. The one sponsor I think this may be, and I think this is who our sponsor will be, is Qatar. I think it's going to be Qatar Airways. I personally feel like it will be. There was tech conglomerates that were interested, a lot of Middle Eastern companies, a few airlines. I feel like it's going to be Qatar. I honestly think it will be. It's never really gone away. All the mock-ups have Qatar Airlines or Airways on there. I can't remember what one it is out of the two. All the mock-ups have their sponsorship on our kit. It looks clean. It looks good. And it's the one that's kind of like, when you see things over and over and over again, it kind of makes sense. It's like repetition. It gets burned into your retinas. That's literally what I've been seeing on the 3rd kit leaks, 1st kit, 2nd kit, whatever. Also Riyadh Airways as well. I've seen that on a couple. That looks quite nice, if I'm being honest. So I feel like I personally feel, I'm predicting it'll be Qatar. I think that's the company that's going to be sponsoring us long term. And to be fair, I'm not mad at it. I'm really not mad at it. I want Chelsea to go secure the bag, get as much sponsorship money as possible, because it only helps. We've not really had it for a couple of seasons now, not on a long-term basis, and it's free money for the club in terms of revenue. And when we do lack in terms of the match day sales because of limited capacity compared to other clubs in the top 6, this is huge. It really does give us a big extra boost. Now we've had I think a catering company sponsoring certain things, whether it's the sleeves or the boards around the stadium. Loads of other little sponsors which are obviously contributing to that financial revenue. But we need the big one, the front of shirt sponsor. So I'll keep my ears to the ground. When I hear something and see something, I will obviously report on it. Well, react to it with you guys, give my opinion, and obviously ask for yours. But I'd love to know your thoughts and opinion regarding the front of shirt sponsor. Who do you want it to be? There were some of you that were saying that you wanted Apple to be the front of shirt sponsor, which I think is a bit left field. You know, obviously they've got the money to pay it, but it'd be interesting to see Apple as a sponsor. But I feel like out of these Middle Eastern companies, it will be Qatar. That's what I'm thinking. So I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down below. And how much do you think Chelsea can secure per year on a front of shirt sponsor? 60 million, or could we get closer to 70? Fabrizio Romano has reported an exclusive. Everton submit official bid for KDH to join on a permanent deal from Chelsea. Club-to-club talks are underway and Chelsea are open to this option, with discussions ongoing on terms with Everton. The Athletic have reported that Chelsea are looking for a fee in the region of what was paid Leicester to sign Dewsbury Hall of £30 million. And as a recording, Fabrizio Romano also reported that Everton have almost agreed a fee with Chelsea for Dewsbury Hall. Now, I find this very interesting. We spoke about KDH recently because he was also linked with Fulham. Fulham were trying to explore a move, see if it was viable, and Chelsea said £30 million is what we're asking for. And it's not gone quiet, but it was kind of like, okay, cool, we've got all the information, we'll let you know. And now Everton are coming out of nowhere, no reports up until today, and it looks like they've already, very much on the verge of agreeing a fee. Once this video goes out, the fee will probably be announced. And I'm hoping it is around that £30 million mark, because it means that Chelsea aren't trying to exploit and make lots of money, but they're at least going to break even. They're at least going to break even. They may make profit in terms of add-ons or the amortization of KDH. I don't really know. But in terms of KDH leaving Chelsea, I've made my thoughts and opinions, very clear in recent videos. I feel like he is a very good squad player. He comes on, he does his job very, very well. I feel like his performances went under the radar a lot last season. He played a lot of minutes in the Conference League. A lot of fans, not all fans, but a lot of fans were getting on his back because they were expecting him to do more. When in reality, and to be fair, at the start I also was as well, because I wasn't really sure what his role was going to be within the Chelsea squad once we first signed him. But it was made very clear that he was going to be that squad player who has a job to do. He's very reliable. When he's called upon, he goes and does his job to a high standard. Now, you guys have also let me know in the comments that player is going to be replaced this season with Andre Santos, who I feel is going to get more minutes than KDH across the season. But in terms of the role of very, very good player, want to see him play, he'll get lots of minutes, has a role and a job to do, and when he's called upon, he's extremely reliable, and he's going to break into the first team across the season. They're my thoughts and predictions. That's what I think. A lot of you guys also shared that sentiment in the comments. So it makes sense as to Chelsea getting rid of Dewsbury Hall. But at first I was a bit like, that's a bit strange. He's been here for a season. We're looking to offload him already. He's not really had a bad season. It's not like he's completely flopped. Again, he's a squad player that plays his role. So very curious to know your thoughts regarding KDH, because obviously it looks like he's going to Everton. Like I said, by the time this video is uploaded, there'll probably be a fee agreed of around about £30 million, which I think is a very good deal for KDH, considering he did play a squad player role. And I think it's a very good signing for Everton. I think Dewsbury Hall can go to a lot of Premier League clubs and do a very good job for them as a starter, or again, even as a squad player coming in rotation, because he's played right wing, he's played as a 10, he's played as a 6, he's played as an 8. Every time he's on the pitch, he just does his job. Just does his job. Whether it's a half of football, whether it's 60 minutes, whether it's 25 minutes, whether it's 10, doesn't seem to matter. He just comes on, very professional, works hard, does his job, goes home, and collects his paycheck. And fair play. I think every squad needs a player like KDH for sure. I would have thought we would have kept him, but again, as you guys have explained, which makes a lot of sense to myself as well, that Andre Santos will replace him in that role and obviously drive on to be a first teamer for Chelsea next season. I don't know why my brain was going there, but I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions regarding KDH going for 30 million to Everton. Do you think this is a good deal for Everton? Is this good business from Chelsea? It just adds to another player of outgoings for Chelsea. That very long list is getting very, very short. And today we've really had a quiet Monday lunch, because we've got 3 deals. This is one of them that are going to be agreed. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. David Ornstein has reported an exclusive. Burnley reach agreement with Chelsea to sign Lesley Ugochukwu. 21-year-old set to travel for a medical and complete permanent move from Chelsea to Burnley on a 5-year contract. The France youth international significantly bolsters Scott Parker's option at the number 6/8. Again, another deal. Now, we spoke about Ugochukwu and his unfortunate timing of being at Chelsea in terms of squad development being improved, him being injured at various times, not being able to keep fit and showcasing his quality. He had a turbulent, well, I think it was a good loan spell at Southampton, but turbulent to start. He didn't play a lot in the first half of the season until he kind of said look, if I'm on loan, mate, play me. Do you know what I mean? And then he started playing well. A lot of Southampton fans that I know have said, yeah, very good player, would have loved to have kept him, but I don't think Southampton would have paid the fee that Chelsea were asking for. However, Burnley are. Burnley moving a bit mad in this transfer window. I think that's a very good signing for Burnley. I think Ugochukwu is going to be a first team. I think he's going to do very, very well. He is a Premier League standard player. We know this. We know how good he is and how good he can go on and develop into as well. And it's very interesting that Scott Parker has seen him as a number 6 and an 8, which is exactly how he would have fit in at Chelsea if we didn't have the likes of Santos and Asugo and Caicedo and Enzo that can all play those similar roles, right? And also Carney Chukwuemeka was his competition while Ugochukwu was at Chelsea as well. So there was a lot of variety, a lot of moving parts. But it'd be interesting, again, this is the one where in this deal there's no confirmed fee. So it'd be very interesting to see what Chelsea get for Lesley Ugochukwu. It'd be very interesting to know your thoughts down below of how much you think Chelsea will go on to sell him for. I'm feeling, or I think, he's going to be sold for probably around 20 million. Which I think would be a good deal. I can't remember off the top of my head what we bought him for. I don't know if he was one of those French players that we overpaid for when we bought Badiashile and Disasi, because I feel like we overpaid for them at the time, especially Disasi. So if we can get any money back for him this summer, that's a win. I can't remember if Ugochukwu was in that or if he was fairly priced. I really can't off the top of my head. Let me know in the comments. I think I want to go out and say it was like 18 million, 15 to 18 million. I'm not entirely sure. But I feel like Chelsea was selling between 20 to 22 million pounds to Burnley. And I think Burnley have got an absolute steal here. I think they've got a very, very good player who's going to really help their midfield going into the season. Scott Parker has had a very turbulent managerial career, up and down, with promotions, relegations, etc. But I don't think that's anything to sniff at. I think Parker is going to go on and do pretty well with Burnley. And I think Burnley are... well, they're getting some key players this summer. Fair play to them. So Lesley Ugochukwu going to Burnley. Looks like, fee hasn't been agreed, but it looks like that deal is going to happen. And again, Ugochukwu had some interest from other clubs, and it seemed to have gone quiet, and this has come out of nowhere. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding this transfer. Do you think it's a good move for Burnley? Do you think it's a bad move for Lesley Ugochukwu? And how much did we pay for him? And how much do you think Chelsea will sell him for? Fabrizio Romano has reported, understand that Borussia Dortmund have reactivated direct talks with Chelsea for Carney Chukwuemeka. Negotiations ongoing between the clubs to find a solution as Carney wants the move. Chelsea insist on a permanent transfer. This is one of these deals where we knew it was going to happen at some point. We knew how much Carney really liked playing at Dortmund. We know how much Dortmund really liked Carney, but we also know how much Dortmund didn't want to pay the £40 million release clause that Chelsea had in Carney's contract. Chelsea basically said, look, you've had your try before you buy it. Run us the money. You can have him. Simple as that. Dortmund are like, we really want the player, but 40 mil is probably a bit too much. And we're finding this running theme, and I've spoke about this in previous videos, in this last week or so. Chelsea are doing very good business this summer window in incomings and outgoings. We're standing on business and getting our fees. We're not bolting and going, actually, yeah, all right, you can only afford this, we'll do it for that. No, we'll just go, okay, cool, you don't have the player. Simple as that. Someone else will come in and buy them. And we're seeing more and more of these players that we all think are going to be rather difficult to offload. Sterling, a big one. KDH was very interesting to be on the list, but again, it's like, who's going to buy him? Ugochukwu was another one where it was like, talented player, but who's going to come in and pay the money Chelsea are asking? There's a lot. Petrovic for 25 mil, I still think it's a bargain, but again, it's like, who's going to come in and pay that money? Is it going to be a Premier League team? Is it going to be a team abroad? Chelsea have got an insane amount of value in terms of players that they can sell this summer, and they're not going to, João Felix, getting profit for him from Saudi, like Noni Madueke not buckling and going lower than what we wanted for him, ended up getting over 50 million for him. Carney is no exception, but the difference is we have very good relations with Dortmund, and goes both ways. Carney gets on really well with Dortmund. They really want the player. So what happens? Are Chelsea going to sit there at 40 million, or are they going to reduce it and say 35 million plus add-ons? Potentially with add-ons, at least that way there's still a chance of getting that 40 million in his release clause. Is it gonna get to the point where this goes on for a long time, no one can reach an agreement, and then Chelsea go, all right, cool, have him with a loan with an obligation to buy this time. So it's still a try before you buy for a little bit longer, but you have to buy him after a certain point. I personally hope that Chelsea stand on business, get a permanent transfer and get the money that he's worth. Carney's a fantastic player. Another player which I spoke about in depth about how quite sad that he didn't really get the run out that we all wanted him to have at Chelsea because of injuries and, again, the squad improvement at certain times. Very unlucky, like Ugochukwu, in terms of his Chelsea timing of his career. But he's a fantastic player. He enjoys it out in Dortmund, so hopefully this deal goes ahead. Well, I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding Carney Chukwuemeka to Dortmund. How much do you think Chelsea can get for him? Do you think Dortmund will pay the money? Do you think that Chelsea will buckle and then try and meet in the middle with an obligation to buy, or lowering the price completely? Very curious to know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Fabrizio Romano has reported an exclusive late last night that Tariq George wants to leave Chelsea this month with reduced game time, and Bundesliga clubs are keen on signing him. Permanent move is also possible. Chelsea prefer to keep George but accept his desire for regular football. RB Leipzig and Gladbach among clubs keen. He then goes on to report an exclusive that RB Leipzig has asked Chelsea about Tariq George. However, it is a separate topic from Xavi Simons and not the same deal. This one hurts us Chelsea fans, right? But we fully understand it. I spoke about Tariq George. A lot of us fans are saying, a loan would make a lot of sense for him this season. It makes a lot of sense for him to go out and develop. We know how good he is of a player, but he wants regular game time. This was his breakthrough season. And there is arguments to say that if he didn't score that equaliser against Fulham, we wouldn't be where we're at right now. Very important player in very key parts of the season last season. Had a good Conference League run out as well. It's sad to see him go. We wanted to see him go on loan. But this is another signing where available player to sell out of nowhere where we can get profit, right? I think we could, this would be the window to sell if we're going to, because he's going to get limited game time next season, so his value would go down a little bit, right? I feel like right now you could probably sell him for around £30 million. I think that's an incredible deal for whoever picks him up for that amount of money. Because he's young, he's very talented, he's got experience, he's helped us win trophies this season. We know he's going to go on and be an incredible player, but he's just going to get limited game time at Chelsea. And I feel like Chelsea are operating on a one-in, one-out system. For me, and I'm not going to speak about him for too long in this video because I know that you guys absolutely can't stand it, and that's fine, but I feel like we are operating on a one-in, one-out system. You could view this two ways. Tariq George comes out, Garnacho comes in, and then your left wingers are Gittins or Garnacho. That could help. I personally feel like George has a higher ceiling and more potential than Garnacho, but that's a different story for a different day. The other way you could look at it is George goes out, Simons come in. That's a 1-for-1. Obviously, Simons plays anywhere across the front four, so very different type of player. But you could see it that way, right? Chelsea are looking to offload players to make room for more players coming in. I would really love George not to leave Chelsea on a permanent. Just from an emotional standpoint, as a fan standpoint, want to see him go on and do well. However, look, I've been supporting Chelsea all my life. This isn't new. We have youth players come in. They come and go. Tammy Abraham, Tomori. There's so many that we probably should have kept, but we've ended up selling for, at that time, the height of their price that they were going to be at. And we cashed in. And fair play, that's Chelsea's model, especially when we're going to buy a load of players in key areas that are further along in their footballing journey and more suited for that position to go and compete for trophies. So this one kind of hurts a little bit. But I also fully understand it and I back it because I want George to go on and do well. I really do, and I feel like all Chelsea fans do. We know how good he is. We know he's going to get limited game time. We can get a fair bit of money for him profit-wise. And he's going to, anywhere he goes, he's going to tear it up. If he goes to the Bundesliga, he's going to tear it up. If he goes to another Premier League team, as long as he goes to a team that's going to play him regularly, he's going to develop into an absolute machine. He's going to tear it up. So I'm very interested to know your thoughts overall regarding Tariq George and wanting to leave Chelsea, and I understand it. Chelsea even respect it. Look, we want to keep you, man, but if you want to go play regular football, fair play, the door is open. Let's see what we can do to make you happy, and I respect that. Sometimes clubs shut the door and they say no chance. Sometimes they open the door and the player doesn't want to leave. So I feel like this is very mutual, very amicable. But I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding Tariq George leaving Chelsea and wanting to leave for regular game time. How much money do you think Chelsea can get for Tariq George? Does he end up in a club like RB Leipzig? Does he stay in the Premier League? Very curious to know your thoughts. And that's all the latest Chelsea news. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you have watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one. And I mean that. You're a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure to click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.